Joining us for ICONversations. The ICON program is designed to celebrate our company's top producers. These agents have not only exceeded capping status, but have also reached exceptional milestones, earning them various stock grants and the opportunity to earn back their paid company dollar. From Alabama, we have Freddie Guerrera. From New Hampshire, we have Donald Goudreau. From British Columbia, we have Zybo Zhang. From Virginia, we have Daniel Harnsberger. And our moderator today is Charlie Dowd from California. Charlie, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Nice meeting you all. Shout out to the panel. I do see some amazing people on it. And thanks for everyone who's here, of course, taking your time out of your day to join us in this class. So check this out. I've been on the panel and now I'm moderating. So it's a cool little switcheroo going on. But I do have the questions that I'm ready for. And I think we're going to go ahead and start off with, let's see who we got here. We can start off with Daniel. Daniel, are you ready for a question?
I'm ready.
Awesome. All righty, let's go ahead and do it. So, Mr. Daniel, let's just start off with where you're from. Kind of tell us where you're from. And let's also include another question, where you're from and how long have you been with EXP?
Okay, I'm from Richmond, Virginia, Central Virginia market. I've been with EXP for almost 3.5 years now, three-time icon. Switched from one of the other national brokerages over to here and haven't looked back.
That's awesome. Yeah, same here. So you've hit icon how many times you said?
3. So my first year where I was eligible for it was 2023. I've hit it every full year I've been with the company.
Wow, amazing job. Mr. Donald, why don't we have you hop in with the same question? Where are you from? How long have you been with EXP? And we'll also add how many times have you hit icon status?
Sure, Donald Goodrow, and I am from New Hampshire. I have hit icon once in January of 2025. And I normally do a ton of sides, and that was one of my secrets to getting to icon.
Nice. So you've been with the company not too long, but how are you liking it so far? 8
Great.
years.
I joined in January of 2017. We were just a small little fledgling company. And now I look at it and it's like amazing.
Wow. So you've watched this company grow.
Oh, yeah. We were in like 43 states and like 4 provinces, and that was it.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's really cool to see. So I'm sure you're really invested, right? You're really invested, which is good. Awesome.
I will be in Miami. Yep, coming up.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you there.
Okay.
Let's go ahead. Awesome. Thank you. Let's go ahead and go with Sibo Zhang. Same questions. Where are you from? How long with EXP? And how many times have you achieved icon status? Sibo? If you're not ready, I can skip to the next. Cool, Sibo, we'll come back to you. No problem. Mr. Freddie, you're next, my friend. Where are you from? How long with EXP? And how many times have you achieved icon status?
Yes, I work in the Birmingham market area here in Alabama, and I have achieved icon 5 times out of my 6th year with EXP, and I'm planning to continue being an icon for the next 5.
Yeah, exactly. Let's manifest it. That's awesome stuff. Hitting icon, I know, is not easy, especially in this market. So for all of you guys to be up here, especially the few who have hit it back to back, it's an amazing accomplishment. And definitely pat yourself on the back, because me hitting icon, I know it's not as easy as people might make it seem, right? So that's awesome for us. Cool. Let's go back to Sibo. Are you available to answer that question, Mr. Sibo? Sibo Zhang, Mr. Zhang? Brian, should I move on?
He's asking about how to change his microphone setting.
Cool. Technical difficulties it looks like we're having, so I'll give him a few more seconds. Alrighty, Sibo, I'm sorry, I do have to move on. We'll go back to now. Let's start off with Freddie again. So, Mr. Freddie, what are you seeing in your local market right now that agents across the country should be doing
Well,
or
I
paying
I
attention to?
I like the basic. Every time I play tennis, not professionally, of course, for fun, but my son did play in college, and time something was off with his game, the coach went back to let's go back to basic. Let's go see how you're hitting your forehand. Let's see how you grab your racket. And the same thing with real estate. A lot of people will concentrate on everything new and new technology, and they forget the basic. When my business, begins to get slow, I go back to basic. What made Freddie a successful agent back in the days when he began his career, and what has worked for Freddie recently? So I always go back to the basic. Am I making the phone calls that I'm supposed to be making? Am I sending the thank you notes to my A clients? And once I do that, then everything begins to fall in place again. So I don't concentrate much on what's new and chasing the new stuff. I concentrate on what works for me, is what works for me, and is usually doing the basic.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Sometimes it's as simple as just doing the basics, what you're supposed to do, the standard of doing real estate sometimes, which is simple as lead generation and follow-up, which is calling, like you mentioned, thank you notes, like follow-up, right? So definitely makes sense there. Let's go ahead and jump on to Mr. Donald. Mr. Donald, what would you say, what you're seeing in your market right now, the other agents should be paying attention to? Maybe it's how the market is rolling in your end, what agents should be paying attention to in this market, what should they be doing in this market? Let's touch on that.
Yeah, actually, New Hampshire's, believe it or not, is like the 8th fastest growing market in the whole country. We're kind of like Boston North. And so it's amazing, 50 states and we're number 8. So, it's a little easier to up your game as far as, dollar per transaction. I remember when I started in 2003, way back with another firm, I was like, the average transaction was like 150,000 and now it's like 550.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but we have a very shortage of housing. So that's kind of related to our state. What I would say is I like that basics thing. I do that. And I find, and I've been doing this 22 years. What I find is I have to reinvent myself every 5 to 7 years and kind of see, why did I not get those last 3 listings? What am I doing wrong there? And really be self-critical and then react to it.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like that. Sometimes adapting is what you're kind of saying. And a long story short, adapting to the markets every 5 years.
Yeah.
Got it. I like that idea. Okay, cool. Let's move on to Mr. Daniel from Virginia.
All right. Could you repeat the question?
Sure, of course. What are you seeing in your market right now that other agents should be paying attention to? What other agents should be doing in this market? Just basically, in a long question short, with this market, what should agents be paying attention to and doing?
I think when you're prospecting for sellers, you want to be scrutinizing motivation, really being able to understand that there is a strong motivation for anyone you meet with, a strong have to or a strong want to sell. Because right now, while our market statistically is appreciating, it's the gap is certainly narrowed, and it's not even our market inflation for the first time in a long time is not staying ahead of general inflation. So not only the motivation, but I think when you do go to a listing appointment, you also want to be mindful of the other active listings that would be competitors of yours in whatever part of your area, because you want to be the best price home in your in your part of the market.
Got it. I like that. Cool. So basically pricing aggressively, knowing what the why is for the consumer so we can kind of put a hook on that why and use that to leverage this transaction, of course. Love it.
I mean, it's not even about while leverage is important. It's not even about that. It's about just making sure you're not wasting your time.
Of course. I've seen a lot of agents just want to take listings and they'll do whatever the seller says just to get that listing, but then they're wasting money on photography, their time, the conversations, and it ends up being an expired listing. That's a waste of money. So definitely agree. Waste of money and time, of course, and energy and so much more. Thanks for that, Mr. Daniel. Mr. Sibo, are you back? Are we in business?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect.
Welcome back.
Sorry for the difficulty. Yeah.
Came back from the dead. I love it. All right, cool. And I only said that because it's October, Halloween vibes going on. So love that. So Mr. Sibo, same question for you. I'm not going to start you off from the beginning, but let's kind of jump into this question. What are you seeing in your market right now that other agents should be paying attention to, should be doing, etc.?
We had lots of difficulty in our market because we're in Greater Vancouver area, which is one of the two biggest in Canada. Toronto area and the Vancouver area. So in our area is oversupplied. There's lots of inventory. But I have a little bit of different opinion on taking listings. I think every listing will sell. It's just a matter of price, right? So I usually dig a little bit deeper to find out what the seller wants, and then kind of plan the strategy accordingly. If it's in a situation that somebody has to sell, then we'll definitely talk about the facts and the comparables and if they should list and or not, and we'll go from there, right? That's, yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next questions. Sibo, I'll start with you just because you've been out for a second. What's one discipline or habit since you first started till now that you know has been working? Like this works regardless of what's going on in the world. When I do this, it works. What's that one thing, whether it's a habit, discipline, whatever it is?
Well, one habit I want to point out, probably people think nothing to do with business. I wake up at 5 a.m. every day. That's discipline. And I think in this business, we need a consistency. That's just one little thing. I stick to it pretty much every day. So that changed my business.
I love that. Mr. Daniel, can you hop on that question too? What's one thing, discipline, habit, whatever it is from day one that's been working for you till now?
Prospecting, just dedicating time to finding new people and keeping up with my my past clients and doing it consistently every day. That's it. Not hard
Simple
stuff. Yes.
It's the small unexpected things instead of the big expected things.
Well, if you do it consistently every day, you're actually going to have expected results, and especially if you work on your skills, which is learning how to handle objections and understand personality styles so you can better convey information. If you learn how to handle objections, you're going to turn more of your prospecting calls into appointments, and you're going to turn more appointments into listings. It's as simple as that.
Numbers game. I like it. Mr. Freddie, you're next. Mr. Freddie?
Sorry, I had it mute. No, one thing that I do every day, and when I mean I do every day, I have different people that do different things for me, but I am the business. Freddie Guerrero is the business. So I always work on prospecting. Just like Daniel said, prospecting is one thing that I have learned in 20 years how to do. Every time I am on a line waiting on something, I'm looking on front, I'm looking on the back, I'm looking to see who's next to me, because the business is people. So I always put myself in a position to prospect, and I go where people are. So if I have no clients to call, I go to a restaurant and I sit at the bar. And when I sit at the bar, there will be people to my right, there will be people to my left, and I pick up conversation based on things that I have learned. What are they wearing? If they're wearing, here in Alabama, this is football season. We love, college football, so we always will roll tie. But if I see somebody with Vanderbilt or coming from, I just pick up a conversation to prospect, because you never know who is you're going to be your next client. So for me, it's prospecting. Everything else I pay for. I don't do a lot of things, but I do one thing very well, and that is prospecting. So my bucket is always full with people to call, with people that I can follow through or just get an appointment. But it has to go back to prospecting. Everything else I pay for.
Love that. Prospecting. You just want to be in charge of the elevator pitch, the sales pitch when you're talking to these clients, because it's your business and it's your face on the name. So, no, it makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. Cool. Mr. Donald.
I have a little praise report off that. I wear my name badge everywhere. And 20 years ago, I bought a set of tires from somebody. And to this day, we're still friends, and I'm still selling him and his relatives properties. So you never know, you might be in line buying tires. But in addition to that, on follow-up, I'm real big on follow-up. NAR says that the average realtor will call somebody back one time. And I make it a point to call them 3 to 7 times before I consider them a dead lead. So I'm very strategic in that.
So when agents, when leaders, when coaches say the fortune is in the follow-up, obviously they say it for a reason. And when you keep hearing it, it's not just because they want to say it. It's because it's literally just like the word lead generation and the word follow-up, I feel like are the two biggest things that agents tend to not do. And it's the most important things to do in our business. And it's so weird, but it's just kind of how it works for some reason with agents. They just don't want to prospect, lead generate, cold call, or follow-up, but they'll do everything else. When the core of the business, the core of the career is follow-up and lead generation.
Yeah, and I'm more motivated by negative reinforcement. So when somebody tells me, oh, yeah, I listed with XYZ Realty, I'm a maniac that week.
Yeah, it gets you, huh? It gets you. Awesome. Let's keep moving on forward. This question is a good one for me as well, too. I like this question. It's like, what was your breakthrough moment? Because all of us are successful now. Obviously, we're on this panel for a reason. And we weren't on this panel when we first started real estate. We didn't hit this milestone when we first started real estate. So what was the breakthrough for you guys that made you like say, I'm here and this broke me through, this popped my ceiling, this popped my balloon, and now it's exponential growth? Let's start off with Mr. Daniel.
I mean, I don't know that there was like this, aha moment, if you will. But for me, the thing that changed the course of my career was just getting into coaching, because like my first year in the business, I sold 19 homes. Second year, I sold 30. And at the end of that year, I got into coaching, and I'm so glad I did, because while I sold 30 that year, and I'm sure a lot of people would think that's pretty good, I just like nothing about my business was replicatable. So coaching, I just follow, I'm coachable. I follow the system. I prospect daily. I build in my prospecting time into my day, route my calls the night before, and just doing that, it gives me much more predictable results, because I'm taking consistent action, whereas kind of just all over the place prior to that.
Love it. Mr. Donald?
Yeah, I look at things a little differently. I know that 80% of the agents are barely making ends meet. So I looked at that and said, I don't want to be part of the donut crowd standing at the water cooler. And what I do is I get out there and I do kind of the opposite of what the masses do. And for some reason, it works for me.
I like that. And what is the opposite, if you could just elaborate more?
Well, what I do is I will make sure to consistently, I'm literally on my computer morning till night, but I'm more of a lone wolf, I would put it. And, I just like to stay on track with what I'm doing, and then I react to it, try to get a day off. If not, if I don't get a Sunday off, I'm going to try to take Monday off. But essentially, I have to make sure my cup is full. I have, at least 8 separate and distinct lead sources that that are giving me leads.
Love it. Love it. Cool. Mr. Sibo.
Yes.
Mr. Zhang.
For me, I'll share two aha moments. Number one is the consistency. I want to take it to a different level. I want to talk about how I keep consistent when nothing is happening. So that aha moment I had was back in COVID when nothing is happening in the country. I just make my calls, make 30, 40 calls every single day, no matter what. Rain or shine, I show up. So the consistency pay off after 3-6 months, right? So that's my number one aha moment. Number two is I built a team. I was a single agent for my first 8 years in the business, and I never made to Icon when I was solo agent. I started making to Icon when I built a team. That was about 2 years ago. So this is a people business. I deal with great people. I got team members. Talking about that, I just added my second team member yesterday. So there's 3 of us right now. So we have a great team right now, and then the teamwork can leverage my power and my the strengths of the business too much to a different level. So 2, that's what I can share.
Cool. That's perfect. Mr. Freddie, you're up next, brother.
Well, I would tell you, I've been in real estate for 20 years, and I was a single dad until 2019 when my son graduated from high school. In the meantime, I really could not develop my real estate career in my beginning years because, I had to take care of my son in a private school, take him in the morning, take him in the afternoon, all his activities. But one thing that I did learn in the beginning, back in 2005 when I began, was that for me, I am not an individual that do habits. I like goal. I like to set up a goal of how much money I want to make every year. So for me, my aha moment came in basically 2019 when my son graduated from high school. Then I said to him, okay, great, you're going to Auburn, but now I am going to double my business. So the goals that I was making before, and I was stopped by time now because I had more time to predicate to my business. I made bigger goals, put it into how much money I wanted to make, and then I took my time to develop it. And that moment came right after 2019, 2021. That's when I shifted into EXP in 2019. And by having goals, my aha moment has come every year because now I don't worry about what everybody else is doing. I worry about meeting my goals. And if I'm meeting my goals in terms of income, traveling, spiritual, healthy, and good. So for me right now, every year is a moment because I'm meeting my goal and I don't have to envy somebody else's business if it's larger than mine because my goal is my goal and it has nothing to do with the guy who went across the stage with twice the amount of closings, because my goal is what I want, and within my goal I have everything else taken care. So that's how I go by goals.
That's nice. That's nice to hear. That's very good. Okay, let's listen to this one now. Here's this question. I think it's a good one too, actually. We'll start off with Mr. Daniel. I do want to hear what you have to say about this question. If you lost everything and had to start over in a brand new market, what would you do in the first 30 days?
I mean, I would nothing. I would do as much circle prospecting as humanly possible. I would start calling expired listings and FSBOs. So I'd be calling people who are at one point declared sellers. And then from there, I'd just be calling everyone possible. certainly the expression you've repeated a couple of times, it's a numbers game. It would be no more applicable than there. I would have to leverage numbers because, if I'm just dropped off in a new market all of a sudden, I can't necessarily leverage my market knowledge like I can here. So Yeah, certainly that's what I'd be doing.
Good answer. Good answer. Let's move on to Mr. Donald. Same question.
Yeah.
If you were dropped in a brand new market and didn't have anything, you just started brand new, what would you do in the first 30 days?
Great. Well, I've taken almost every major program for coaching there is. And I think it was Tom Ferry said, what you got to do is you have to be like number one on Google. So I had to figure out a way to be number one on Google as fast as possible, because there's 24 hours in a day. It's going to take me forever to get out there and meet, 12,000 people. So if I can get my Google placement in place, no matter how it takes, how would Steve Jobs go out and start a new business? He would be number one on Google within a month. I guarantee that. So that's what I would do is you got to get the exposure. And then secondly, I would class it up, make sure I'm dressing right. I'm dressing better than the average agent, and it will attract people.
Okay, exposure, image, placements of business online. I like that. We also got Daniel, who said numbers game. So good stuff so far. Next up is Mr. Sibo. You were dropped somewhere with zero real estate results, past clientele in a new market, and you have 30 days. What would you do?
My number one thing is I'll hire a really good assistant, so free up my time, and then I'll focus on prospecting. I'll make sure that I have 30 transactions every day. My thing is usually door knocking or internet leads. I'll probably do one of both, and then just make sure that I have enough conversation with prospecting. Yeah.
Got it. Mr. Freddie, same question.
Okay. I don't like, let's say, door knocking, because as you can see, my accent will probably get me sent back to my origin. They would call eyes on me. I never did very well on the phone, but I do very well in person. So if I have to start all over again, instead of doing it one at a time, because when I began my career, I was kind of shy in the beginning. I did not follow the basics. And then after a while, I realized that the basic was having people in front of me. So if that was the case and I was with no business today and I want to start my career today, I would probably make the list of all friends, acquaintances, people in church, and I will invite them to a big party in my house or at a major venue where I could have everybody there at once, feed them food, give them drinks, and I would introduce myself and I say, look, I'm a brand new agent. I'm ready to serve you. And this is what I would do to get the ball rolling. I would do it one-on-one, but in a large crowd, in person instead of on the phone.
I like that. Different answers for everyone, which is good because you can get a combination of all. I love that. Okay, cool. Next question that I have for you guys is, what is one mistake that you see agents still making all the time currently in this market, in this business, in this industry? What's one mistake that agents just keep doing and you keep noticing? Let's start off with Mr. Sibo.
Stop complaining about what market does, because lots of people are telling you that market's not great, and basically those are excuses to me. You don't find a reason for you not to do things. You find a reason for you to do things. The consistency will pay off when the market improves. So the downturn market will get you more market shares. That's what I think. Yeah.
Awesome. Since Freddie, you're already unmuted, you're next.
Well, I usually have a lot of new agents coming in, but most of the agents don't follow the basic. I mean, the basic is there for a reason. They need to start with the circle of friends. One mistake that they do is they don't tell their friends, they don't tell their acquaintances, because they are afraid of, oh my God, they know I just began, they know I don't have experience, they know I just got this license, so they don't tell friends. If you want to start a business in selling, you need to start with the basic. Who are the people that most likely will be listening to you? Who are going to be your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters? Even if they make fun of you, you need to go with the entry level with your friends and acquaintances. Everybody wants to jump into give me the Zillow lead. Well, they don't know that Zillow lead costs $7,000 to get 100 leads. And then what do you do with 100 leads? Most of those leads are dead. You got to hire an assistant who has a good communication skill to sort through those leads. Everybody wants to jump into the Google rating #1. They want to go into Zillow. They want to do Realtor. But most of the agents are coming in broke. If they don't have any money, how are they going to spend money to get the leads? And then once they have the leads, how are they going to work those leads? So agents continue to look for those things because this is what is advertised today. But to me, real estate is going back to people. Well, go to the people that can at least listen to your story. I would tell them, go back and do the circle of friends, begin with your friends and your family.
Love it. Love it. Back to the basics. Mr. Daniel, jump in and give us some gems, please.
Yeah, it's fun to piggyback off that point. Like, I'll have new agents come into my line, and you can truly see who's going to do well versus who's not right off the bat. Because the first thing I'll tell them is, hey, make a list if you don't have one already of everyone you know and they know you, their name, and at least their phone number, email if you have it. And your first call is actually the easiest call. Hey, I'm in real estate. I'm with eXp Realty. Who do you know who needs to buy or sell? And the ones that do well are the ones that end up taking on that task, and the ones that don't, you can imagine. So I think it's not utilizing your database. Statistically, about 90% of people would use their previous agent again, if they only kept up with them. The other thing I think is just not focusing on production-based activities daily. What I think a lot of agents do is they let their day run them. They get to their desk whenever they show up, and then they open up their laptop. First thing they do is go right to their email, and they kind of let their day run them from there. Whereas I think if you time stack, know what you're doing going into the day, have appointed times for listing appointments, you're going to be a lot better off.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Cool. Did I miss anyone, by the way? Did I miss? No, I think I got everyone.
Donald?
Oh, sorry, because you're back there. Sorry about that. Yeah, Mr. Donald. Next, what's one mistake that you see agents doing right now in this market?
They're not realistic about what their goals are. Like when I got in back in 2003, and I wanted to make 100,000, which would be like 300,000 or 400,000 today. And they all kind of like roll their eyes at me because like some people get in, oh, I love people. I want to help, the people that are downtrodden. They all had their reasons. Mine was purely money. And then I grown to like people in the business and for me, it's like middle-aged widows for some reason love me. And so it's kind of like my little niche. But like I say, you got to know who you are. There's an 80-20% ratio in every business, including real estate. 80% of the volume is created by 20% of the agents. So if you ever want to get into the top 20, you better be prepared to be full-time, on the go, knowing the cost to be in the business. But in addition to that, know your vertical alignment. For me, it's like God, country, family, then business. You put your rocks in there into the container, and then you add sand later and water, and you fill that container.
I like that analogy. That's good. Cool. On to the next. I think I have only 2 more questions left. It should be enough questions to drag us to the end of this. Let's see. This one I like this question a lot. What's something that scares you even at this level of success? Okay, what's something that scares you even at this level of success? Let's start off with Mr. Daniel.
I think just to have a listing that doesn't sell, that it's unacceptable for me. So that's, if I have a listing that's north of, our average days on market is 33 right now. So for anything north of that, I'm wondering what we're doing wrong here. Yep. It usually comes down to price, of course, but we also do a lot of active and aggressive marketing for all our listings. so that we can really hammer it out that it is price.
Yeah, exactly. Not selling a listing, is a good way to say it. It's a good way to say it. Mr. Sibo, same question.
The thing that I scared the most is to find the wrong person to be part of my team, because I so far have been very selective on team members. I know a lot of agents trying to see the good candidates for my team, but what I really scared about is if I find the wrong person, then that will impact my team's performance, right? So that's something that I'm very careful and very selective about.
Love it. Mr. Donald?
For me, it's about profitability. I want to make a certain amount of profit, and if I'm in a listing that's going to, drag me through the meat grinder and take away all my profitability, that scares me because, I want to make a certain percentage. We are called brokers for a reason. 80% of us are broke. So I want to crash that glass.
I have a new one. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I like that. It's a broker's broke thing. It's the first time I hear that. I like that. Go ahead and continue.
A lot of truth to it. But essentially, I look at my numbers, am I making any money on these transactions? And it has to be a win-win-win for everybody, buyer, seller, and both agents. So I try to make sure, if you can't have three people win and then one's a loser. So I don't believe in that. That's it.
I'm sorry. Yep. Hello, Mr. Freddie, are you there? Oh, I was on mute. My fault. Mr. Freddie, you're next, brother.
Yes, basically, because I've been in real estate for 20 plus years. On my third year, 2008, I was having a great year in 2007. And January of 2008, the real estate market came to a halt. And I will tell you, I can just fix about anything within my business, making more phone calls, prospecting more, sending more letters, knocking on doors. But when the market crashed like it did in 2008, even at my level of success, I went from 60 homes a year to 8 homes in 2008. And in 2009, I went to 12 homes. That is something that I really can control. So I'm hoping that it will never happen again. But if it does happen, I will be very scared because that can really throw any business away. I saw large companies like Century 21 and franchises closing because their agents went out of business. There was nothing to do. The economy came to a halt. I don't know if anyone here lived through those years, but 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, it was almost 6 to 7 years of no real estate business. Everybody was scared, foreclosures through the roof, and it was difficult. I lived it. I don't want to see it again. That would scare me a bit if it were to happen again.
Okay, I like that. Got it. A big crash. Cool. I'm going to go on to my last question. I don't know if this ends at 9:30 or 9:40. Does anybody know here on the panel? Okay.
30 at the 30 mark.
Perfect. In that case, we have time for one more question, and I think I'm going to end it off with a cool question. What's the funniest, weirdest, cringiest, maybe the most awkward, whatever it is, what's the funniest, craziest, awkward story that you have regarding you showing a property or meeting a seller? Let's start off with Mr. Daniel.
I wish I'd had more time prep on that one. I don't know. This year it was my second meeting with the sellers, this couple, and they're divorcing, and I came back the following day because both of them were going to be there. So I was hired. I just had to get signatures, and I'm sitting in the middle of their dining room table. They're on either head of the table, and they just start getting into a huge argument back and forth. And yeah, what do you even do? I don't.
You were just standing there, right? You're like, what do I do?
I'm just turning my head each way as each guy starts talking. It's probably pretty comical if you're a fly on the wall.
Right. Okay, makes sense. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Alrighty, I like that one. Mr. Sibo, what's the funniest, weirdest, awkwardest, whatever it is, story that you have with a client, whether it's a showing, listing, whatever it is?
For sure. My best one is a showing. I don't know in States, but in Canada here, we set up a lockbox. That's where we get the key when there's no one home and the other agent didn't show up. So as a buyer's agent, I'll get the key from the lockbox and open the door. My best one is, I don't know what this listing agent is thinking about. He set up a lockbox on the tree, which is in the backyard of that property. Wow. It's apartment building. And then, so basically, I only ever remember there's 3 times in my whole career I have to call someone to find the lockbox because I'm usually really good about it. But this thing is like a egg hunting kind of process, right? So I was at the building, I called this guy, I said, where's the lockbox? He said, it's outside the backyard. I said, this is a apartment building, where's the backyard? He said, oh, by the way, you're showing a ground floor unit, so there is a backyard to the unit. But I said, okay, well, from the outside, how can I see the unit number? He said, it's to the left, whatever, and then I find the unit eventually, and he said, you go to the backyard, there are lots of trees, there's on one of the trees, the lockbox is over there. I was like, someone can steal it easily because it's on the tree, it's not even on the metal thing, right? So I was looking for it, and then and this guy is trying to give me direction about the west and east. I said, are you even thinking? I'm in the forest. How do I know where's east and west? And then it took me like 15 minutes to eventually find the tree and get a key from it. And the key is only for the patio door, which I cannot go into the building. So I have to go through the patio door. If someone saw me, they think I'm a thief. And I did my showing, but that's just the best I ever had in my career. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. I like that. That's a funny one, actually. It's like I spy with my little eye for a lockbox. That's funny. Alrighty, Mr. Donald, do you have a story for us?
Do I have a story? I'm not proud to admit this, but I went on vacation and I had a home for sale. The owner was 400 pounds. No problem so far. But another agent set up a showing. So I'm like the next state away. I mean, cell phone signal was shaky. Anyhow, long story short, the agent let himself in with the client just when the 400-pound client of mine is stepping out of the shower.
Oh, wow.
And so they got an eyeful and I got a heated call. But after a while, everybody just laughed about it. But the showing went on, and that's my story.
I like that. That's another funny story. Mr. Freddie, give us a funnier one if you have.
I don't have a funny one. I have one that is very awkward, and at the time was a very difficult one because I was working with a couple who has just moved from New Jersey, young couple, probably early 30s, and we went to see a house, and this house was owned by a gentleman in his 60s with a girlfriend in his 30s. And after we made the offer, the next day or 2 or 3 days, the realtor called me back and she said, Freddie, I am calling you with a very difficult comment, and the seller is very upset. I'm working with the buyer. And I go, well, tell me about it. She said, well, I don't even know how to tell you, but I'm going to tell you. I say, well, you got to tell me if you want me to find out. She said, they want you to ask the buyers who took the seller's girlfriend underwear.
Whoa.
He is saying that he had some favorite underwear hidden on a, chest, and now they're gone. And I told her, look, this couple went with his wife. I was there all the time, and they brought their mom and dad. They are also older couple in the 70s, but I don't think they took somebody else's underwear. So could you imagine about 10, 12 years ago, I was in the middle of that conversation with that agent, and then I had to go back to the buyer and say, look, this is what I got. And they were also upset that the seller even thought that they would have taken a personal undergarment of a female from the room, but it did happen to me.
Man, that's a funny story. That is a funny story, actually. And
It's
it is
not
also
a funny
too.
story. It was difficult to approach, the buyers and, everybody.
Yeah,
So
imagine telling a buyer, hey, the seller thinks
yeah.
you took an. Yeah, of
Yes,
course. That's crazy.
exactly.
You know what? I did see on the chat that they want me to answer this question. So I will answer it because I do actually have a funny story. One time I was showing a house. We have a city called Mojave where I'm from, and it's a really rural area. So houses with big land and not much. It even qualifies for something called a USDA loan, which is like when you can buy property in a place where there's not much population, etc. So I go to this house, dirt road, all that good stuff, and this nice lady pulls up. And everything looks good, right? We go inside the house. I'm walking the house and I'm explaining the house. Hey, here's this, here's that, living room, bedroom. And she's like, Charlie, shut up. Be quiet, be quiet. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? She said, you're interrupting the spirits from talking to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So what I said was, go ahead. I'll leave you guys alone in the house. I'll be outside waiting. Let me know how it goes. And that's my funny story. And from there, I ran in my car and I just waited in my car and waited for her to come back out. Crazy stuff that we deal with as agents. I'll tell you that much, right? Crazy stuff.
Yes.
And I even went back, by the way, when she came out, I was like, so what do you all think, by the way? What do you guys think? And it's just her, right? But I just, hey, so what do you guys think? What did you guys discuss? And that was one of my craziest stories, funniest stories, I would say, showing a house.
Yes.
Anybody have anything to touch on that we should touch on before we end this session? Are we all good?
I'm good. I'm excited that I got to meet and hear everyone here in this panel, and I wish everybody a success and continued success. And hopefully some of you will be in Miami and we'll get to say hi in Miami.
Yes, I'll be there myself. So take down my name, and if you see me walking around, definitely say hi. My name is Charlie Dawood, by the way, guys. I am from California. I'm a team leader / agent myself, so I love hearing people like you guys talk, and it does influence me as well. So I do thank all of you, and we'll see you guys in Miami. If you guys want to drop in the chat, the panel people, if you guys want to drop in the chat your IGs, I've seen people do that before, and that way you have some agents here that can follow you. It's up to you guys, but I'll give it back to whoever's running the show. Awesome. Brian, are you here? Anybody here that can take over, or do I keep going until 9:40? I mean, are we good to go? Someone from EXP land, jump in, please. I think we're good. I don't know if I should just end it. Have a good one, everyone. Have a good one. Thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.